Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Mm-hmm. So we just recorded our first podcast of the new year.
Yay.
And we talked a lot about the identity of decades and time and things like that. And how the trauma of 9/11 has affected the ways in which we perceive time in the last 20 years.
Yeah, potentially.
Potentially. Maybe not for everybody.
Yeah, this is mainly my opinion, but you feel that way now too, right?
I think something has changed, yes.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of things have, but I don't think that there's any sort of strong identity to the O's.
Right.
Or the tens. And so...
And we're going to be the Roaring 20s once again. Now that makes me want to say, well, what were the 1820s and how did the 1920s become the Roaring 20s? Because are we about to just do a mimic of what, a bunch of hairstyles and flapper dresses and dances?
That seems silly.
I mean, it seems like marketable and
yes,
an easy thing to do, but I'd rather understand why it became that way. I think it would be much more interesting. And for me, I think the music of that time, I mean, I love all forms of dance music because I feel like there is a through line in all of them, and the kind of what's the rebellion, the youthful rebellion that goes with dance, with all music, but with dance music in particular. So of that time, is that how it became roaring, like in your face? And I don't know. I'm really interested now, but I am still fascinated that we did have kind of these blah decades of I don't have no roaring O's, some sad O's.
Some sad O's of like
lost.
There's this Limp Bizkit and purple ketchup, Like, what was that about? Did you ever have the purple ketchup?
No, I would never. You know me.
I never had it either. I don't think it tasted like anything but ketchup, but it's just indicative of the weirdness of it all, and how time is accelerated, or at least the perception of it is accelerated, certainly in things like the 24-hour news cycle and our we talked a lot about our technology and social media, and how we're so quickly inundated with so much information that we don't know what to do with, and that we've potentially become desensitized to. The fact that I can get information in the 90s, if someone passed away, it would take several days, usually. If I wasn't close to that person, I wouldn't get a phone call from their family or friends. I'd know probably in a couple days to a week. And now it's immediate. And not even sometimes directed toward you, like, hey, by the way, did you hear? Right, it's just like Benny somebody posted this. Posted a picture of something, and it's already been passed around, and it just happened, I don't know, yesterday, days before. Or hours. So. Because there's like this compulsion also to do that, to just, I'm going to put I'm going to honor this person by changing my picture to them, and it's like, wait, what happened? I was just talking to that person. I mean, this happened with a friend of mine. I was talking with her a week before. Wow. And then she was gone. And I found out online right before going to bed one night, when she stopped me from looking online before bed, because it's just like, that's too much information, I believe, for us to truly take in. I'll speak for myself, for me to truly take in, like, this was somebody's life, and this impacted me, and this was a friend of mine, and here's how I feel about it. There's lots to process and unpack, as we like to say in therapy communities in California, Yet, many people are going to see that and be like, oh, I wonder what happened. That's messed up. Oh, well. And keep on to the next thing. And scrolling and just going. And so that technology has been a huge part of the last 20 years. Huge. And, And the overconsumption of it. Or the abuse of it, almost. And that we are in this unique generation of people who knew all about everything before all of that.
Right, before
floppy
it
disks and
existed.
Blockbuster Video as the height of technology, and now...
Dude, the Quadra Mac with the key.
What's it called? Oh, yes. And now we're...
Macintosh.
Now everybody is online in any way they want to be.
Almost. Well, in America in particular.
Yes, American culture.
American culture and the cultures that we're in the communities that we're in for the most part, yeah.
And also we talked about the meaning that we want to put into the next year and the next decade. And the value in the time that we spend and how we spend it, and to be really, to be mindful. I know it's a word that gets tossed around, but
to be aware.
Be aware of the time that we spend, not just online, but in real life, and wanting to be, it's always like living that life you want to live. Well, you have to make the choices that you want to get there each day.
Yeah, and so we're both reading Atomic Habits by James Clear, and just getting started on it, and first couple chapters are very moving to me, and the idea that atomic is both something tiny and something impactful, hugely impactful. So a tiny step, a tiny decision conceptually will accumulate into this bigger result in my health, in my finances, in my relationship with myself and with others. So I'm excited about it. It's a really exciting time at the beginning of the year, and we talk about that topic, tapping into the excitement of the beginning of a fresh start, and like, oh, I fucked up last year, let's try. Here we go. We try again.
But then you can re-up every year, every week, every month.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, I don't have to let one little slip be the end of it for the rest of the year.
It can't be. And that's, and I acknowledge that too, like how I used to abuse that. Like, well, I messed up, I'll just try again on Monday, but really that means I wasn't as committed as I thought I was, and now I approach my commitments like much more seriously.
Being committed to the system and the process rather than the goal.
Yes.
So that's something that from that book that I'm really fascinated by.
Yeah.
So that being said, I think Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Share with us any of your resolutions or intentions.
What's fascinating you.
And what you want the next year of your life to be like.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be the foundation for the rest of your life.
And the rest, and then 2030, the rest of this decade. What a concept. Love it.
All right.
I love you.
I love you.